Hey, Carl, after months of negotiations, the White House this morning is announcing a new revised framework for the president's social and climate priorities that it believes will be able to pass both chambers of Congress. Among the items included on the spending side, 6 years of funding for universal pre-K, a one-year expansion of both the child and earned income tax credits, new incentives for solar and clean energy projects, and extensions for Affordable Care Act credits. That is just a handful of things that are going to be included in this. Now, to pay for some of these things, the plan will now establish a 15% minimum tax for corporations here in the U.S. and overseas. It will introduce a 1% surcharge on tax buybacks, add a 5% tax on individuals making more than $10 million and another 3% over $25 million. And the IRS will also ramp up its tax enforcement. In all, the new framework is roughly $1.75 trillion in spending. That's half the size of the original proposal. And it excludes many items that the president campaigned on, like paid leave programs, free community college, and more. It also excludes a tax on billionaires and a plan to report bank account cash flow for many Americans. Now, the plan has not officially been scored by the Congressional Budget Office, but the White House believes it will raise $2 trillion, a figure officials say could lower the deficit over 10 years. To sell this new framework, President Biden is visiting a weekly meeting of House Democrats today. The White House will not say what assurances it has received, only that it believes all 50 Democratic senators will vote for the plan and that the House will have enough support to pass it, but not saying specifically which lawmakers have said that their vote is for certain a yes and what exactly that vote count would be. Guys?
Kayla, I guess the challenge at this point is going to be getting the House progressives to go along, yes? No, any doubt about that?
That is, of course, the challenge here, because they wanted this $3.5 trillion plan that the president announced at the beginning. And every time something came to the chopping block, there was a lot of opposition. But, Carl, just about a week ago, we saw the messaging change dramatically, where House progressives were at the White House and they left a meeting with the president saying that they were on board with the direction that he was heading in. They understood that something was better than nothing and that the package needed to be slimmed down. Specifically, Congressman Ro Khanna said that President Biden said in no uncertain terms that he needed this package before he leaves today on a trip overseas to the G20 and the UN Climate Summit, and that, in his words, American prestige was on the line. The messaging after that meeting changed dramatically in a way that would lead many observers to believe that progressives, even if they had heartburn about the package, would still be on board. What we also wonder is whether that means the progressives would vote for a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Those are going to be considered in tandem, and the president this morning is going to make the case why both of those need to be passed.
Kayla, on the revenue-raising side of this, I mean, we've spent a lot of time this week talking about this potential billionaires tax. I think you just reported it's not going to be a part of it. So what are the key revenue-raising aspects of this plan?
Well, the key revenue-raising aspects, David, are specifically the 15% global minimum tax that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen had negotiated with the OECD. I have some of the figures right here in front of me for what they're expected to raise. A White House fact sheet says that that corporate minimum tax will raise about $325 billion. There's also going to be a 1% surcharge on tax buybacks. That's expected to raise about $125 billion. To step up enforcement at the IRS, they think that's going to raise about $400 billion by being able to crack down on what they believe is tax evasion by the wealthy. Of course, all of these are rough figures. We still need a score from the Congressional Budget Office on exactly what they expect to raise. But these are sort of the rough buckets of what the White House and Democratic negotiators are at least targeting here.